What's up, everybody? There's news a couple days ago on Medicare that affected UNH and all of the other health insurance companies that are particularly exposed to Medicare Advantage. UNH was up pretty significantly on the news, up about 13% over the past week. So we're going to talk about it. They are going to report earnings pretty soon here as well. So I'll give you a little preview of what I'm looking for there. If you follow the channel, you know I do have a position in UNH, but it's not a large holding for me. I own several insurance companies, and UNH is actually the smallest position among the 4 companies I own. My largest position is Molina. I was buying pretty aggressively when it dipped under $130 a share. My second largest holding in the sector is Elevance, which I've talked about a number of times on the channel. I think it's undervalued. As always, nothing here is advice to buy or sell any of the stocks that we talk about. I just give you my opinion and I tell you what I'm doing with my money. If you get value out of the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to join my Discord or grab my Google Sheets template where you can analyze stocks like this, then consider following me on Patreon. Link to that will be down below. Now, let's get into it. And real quick, before we dive into healthcare, I just want to quickly talk about oil. What's going on in the oil market has really had a huge effect on the overall stock market over the past month. For most industries, energy is an input cost. As energy goes higher, as oil prices get more and more expensive, then that's going to increase costs to most businesses. Obviously, I'm generalizing a bit, depends on the industry, but higher oil prices lead to lower profits, also puts pressure on the consumer, leads to, in general, lower consumption. So overall, high oil prices, not great for stocks, unless of course you're invested in, say, oil companies. I'm recording this video on Thursday, April 9th, by the way. Considering how volatile this situation is, whatever I say might be outdated by the time you listen to this, but I think the market is significantly underpricing the risk that oil prices will be high for much longer than people think. An article came out this morning saying Goldman Sachs flags $100 plus Brent if Hormuz is shut another month. Basically, they say here that, they think that the Strait of Hormuz is going to open back up, especially with this ceasefire here, and that, the price of oil is going to come down, averaging $82-ish in the third quarter, $80 in the fourth quarter. That's their base case. And their bear case, what they call their adverse view, is that if the reopening is postponed for 1 month, then they expect that oil will average above $100 a barrel for essentially the rest of the year. And if, the opening is delayed longer, then obviously it could be even worse. Now, as I've said before, I'm no political expert, but right now, in spite of a ceasefire, you do not have normal ship traffic going through the Strait of Hormuz. You're looking at maybe a dozen ships going through the strait today, as opposed to about 130 that typically would go through the strait before the war started. So it doesn't appear to me that the strait is open right now. I think it's extremely optimistic to think that traffic is going to recover immediately and basically be normal in a month. That's essentially Goldman's base case here. And again, in that scenario, they're looking at oil of $80 a barrel-ish for the rest of the year. Now, if I just go over to COMEX and I just see, what's going on with oil futures right now. Obviously, this is the headline number, which is, close to $100 a barrel right now. This number that you see people talk about, this is always the next month's contract. So right now, this is May 2026. If you just look at where oil futures are trading for oil to be delivered in, November, December, basically the end of this year, you're looking at oil in the mid to low 70s. The market right now is pricing oil for next year at roughly $70 a barrel. Oil just, this summer in a couple months in the $80 a barrel. We've lost hundreds of millions of barrels total of supply. Again, in Goldman's base case, which I actually consider a bull case, I consider an optimistic scenario, which is essentially we start to go back to normal right now and we're back to normal in a month. They think that Brent is going to average a little over $80 a barrel for the rest of the year. But the futures market, and I know this is WTI, not Brent, but very similar, a couple dollars difference. The futures market is pricing for even cheaper oil than Goldman Sachs sees in their optimistic case. I can't predict the future, but even if you think that there's only a 10% chance that the US and Iran can't reach terms and we are in an extended conflict over there for quite some time, and there's no normal tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz for months, even if you think there's only a 10% chance of that scenario, I think oil today is cheap. The current future price of oil does not reflect the current risk, in my opinion. And similarly, because oil has a huge effect on the stock market, the overall economy, I think the current market has quite a bit of downside risk. Now, with that said, I remain fairly invested. I am overweight energy and also overweight some defensive sectors like health insurance that I think will do better. Not calling for a crash or anything like that, and I think that there's tons of opportunities in the market. I just think that there's a tail risk of a longer conflict, higher oil prices for longer that is not being fairly priced. Now, with that, let's talk about the news around UNH and around Medicare. Medicare rates are set by CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. That's the federal government, essentially. And when we talked about UNH a couple months ago, it was announced that the 2027 Medicare Advantage rates would be going up by 0.09%. Effectively, they would be flat in 2027. I said a couple months ago in that video that this was just a proposal and that the final rate likely would be higher. It's pretty common that the government proposes something and then they receive some pushback and the final rate is a little bit higher than what the government initially proposes. Well, the 2027 rate increase for Medicare Advantage came in at about 2.5%, still below what people were hoping for at the beginning of this year and certainly below medical cost trend right now. But this was a positive surprise, and that's why UNH jumped on this news. Medicare Advantage is a huge portion of UNH's revenue. This is still helpful for other insurers like Elevance, but UNH is more exposed to Medicare than most. For UNH, of their roughly 47 million members, only a little over 7 million are in Medicare Advantage. So you might think, Medicare Advantage, not that big of a percent of the total membership. But remember, Medicare is an older population. Health costs are very high. The revenue per member here is quite significant, and historically their margins in Medicare Advantage have been pretty decent. So even though it looks like Medicare Advantage is only maybe 15% of total membership, Medicare Advantage makes up about roughly 30% of the total revenue of the company. It's quite large, and for a business where the operating margins are razor thin, single-digit margins, a difference of 0% versus 2.5% rate increase is huge. Roughly, by my measure, a $3 billion difference to income from operations. That makes a big difference. In the past, UNH, their operating margins have been about 8%. They were a bit over 8% from 2019 to 2023. And then last year, they just dove off of a cliff. The current rate increases are not enough to bring UNH back to 7-8% operating margins this year or probably next year. But in the medium and long term, I think rates are going to go up. I think they're going to recover to 7% operating margins, which is basically the bottom of where they've been for the past couple decades. That's my base case here. My base case is revenue contracts this year as they pull out of certain geographies, certain plans, and then it's going to increase roughly 8% for the next few years. Operating margin slowly recovers from 5-ish% this year up to 7%. I don't think they get back to these 8.5% operating margins. In fact, I think a lot of the reason they had these operating margins were they were coding fairly aggressively in Medicare Advantage. This is part of the DOJ's current probe into UNH. They effectively say the company was overbilling for Medicare Advantage patients. Obviously, UNH denies this. I think they'll settle at some point. In fact, in my base case, I have an adjustment of negative $5 billion for a settlement here. But regardless, I think they just get back to 7% operating margins. I think free cash flow coming back to shareholders will be a little bit lower than normal for the next couple years, and I'm only giving them a final multiple of 12 times operating income. I think for the largest health insurance company in the US, I think that's pretty reasonable. And in my base case, I'm looking at 16% annualized return on UNH stock. That's a little more than a double over 5 years. I think that's pretty reasonable. In my bull and bear case, you can see the assumptions that I have on the screen here. The end result is that in my bear case, where I'm assuming lower growth, not getting past 6% operating margin, no free cash flow return to shareholders this year even, and only a 9 times final multiple, you're roughly flat on your money over 5 years. On my bull case, on the other hand, which sees UNH getting back to those 8% operating margins and giving them a 16 times multiple, you're looking at roughly a 30% annualized return on the stock. I think the risk reward is pretty decent. However, I'm not buying UNH over $300 a share. I think there's better alternatives. I built my position at lower prices. If it gets back to, the low 200s, I might look to increase my position here. But I'm certainly going to wait to hear what the company says when they report earnings. Keep in mind, their previous guidance was calling for operating income of $24 billion this year, operating cash flow of $18 billion. So we'll see if they reaffirm those numbers or if they adjust that up or down. In any case, when UNH and the other companies report, I'm sure we'll take a look at it here on the channel. So if you got value out of the video, subscribe. If you agree or disagree with anything I said here, leave that down in a comment below. And if you want to grab my Google Sheets template here, consider following me on Patreon. Link to that will be down there as well. And I hope to see you all in another video.